Good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Get over to jerichogreen.net if you want to see my videos hot off the press. They go to my website first and then eventually make their way to YouTube. You want to be one of the cool kids, jerichogreen.net. So, 3 words, guys. Afghanistan, Afghanistan, Afghanistan. What the fuck is going on over there with that runny shit sandwich? It's like trying to corral an armful of greased puppies. What the hell is happening? So, apparently, when Trump was in office, he made plans to evacuate American troops, or not evacuate, to withdraw American troops from Afghanistan by May 1st of this year. So Biden gets into office. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to prolong it until September 11th to be some symbolic shit, I guess, to make the moment more his. Whatever. Bottom line, you would have been in office when the troops got withdrawn, and you would have gotten the praise for it. Yes, people would know that Trump put everything into place, but we know the mainstream mediocres are deep in Biden's pervertus' ass crack, so he would have gotten all the love as though he came up with everything. Whatever, as long as the troops are home. And I've said before in the past, and I will continue to say, I wish all of our troops were home. But that's impossible. I want all of our brave men and women to be home, guns pointed out. But that's not going to happen because once we go somewhere, we can't completely withdraw and bring every single person home, unfortunately. It's like I was watching an episode of that show, Forensic Files, and one of those scientists said, if you go somewhere, you've left something. Fingerprints, skin cells, hair, sweat, something. If you go somewhere, you've left something there. Same thing with us being in these different places around the world. Once we go there, we're always going to be there, but to what extent and at what level? So Biden decides, instead of strategically drawing down our forces, he just did the yank the tablecloth from under all the dishes and try not to disturb them technique, where he just pulled everybody, contractors. Well, now they're sending people back to evacuate the people safely because they've taken the Capitol, they've stormed the embassy, all that shit. It's complete chaos over there. The president of Afghanistan is left. The Taliban is in control. They've already done a press conference from fucking Kabul. They've already been recognized by other countries around the world as the official rulers of, or the government of, Afghanistan. Afghan women, I hope you enjoyed having your ankles out this summer, because it's over. Taliban comes back, the strictest rules you ever seen, Sharia law 2.0, Carhartt burkas for everybody. And I don't mean to sound too tinfoil hat, but look who is licking their fucking chops with what's going on over there. China. Because Afghanistan has natural resources. They need money to run their newly reacquired country. They need money. China has money. China wants resources, natural resources. It's a match made in the death of America heaven. China's loving it. Our mortal enemy is loving it. Our leader, our grandpa in chief, this isn't the mall. He is handing it over to him on a silver platter. Here you go. So never mind all of our allies over there, the Afghani military who was fighting the other countries in the region. The Taliban is back. And it's really sad to see thousands of people running through the capital, through Kabul, storming the airports. There were people climbing on what do they call that? The tube they connect from the airplane to the actual airport, and you board the plane. There are people climbing all over that, trying to get inside the plane. It was like Justin Bieber, NSYNC, Michael Jackson, and Elvis were on that plane, the way people were storming it and bombarding it, trying to get on board. There were 2 men that died They were hanging on to the belly of a military airplane that was leaving Kabul. How did they think this was going to end? They weren't thinking. Desperation kicked in. Self-preservation kicked in. Survival mode kicked in. These dudes were holding on to the belly of an airplane. The airplane takes off. I don't know if it got too windy or the air got too thin up there, but they were a couple thousand feet at least off the ground, and you can see these dudes falling. I'll find that link and put it in the description box so you can see it yourself. It harkened back to some of the images we saw on 9/11 with people jumping out of the burning Twin Towers. 80, 95 stories in the air. You can see them falling. It was either burn alive or be dead in a few seconds. You can see what they chose. That's how desperate they were to get the fuck out of there before the Taliban came back, that they were holding on to the belly of an airplane to get out of there. Shit is crazy. But Biden is basically handing this over. Part of the way that we train their military in our ways, because that's what we know. So we can train them how to use guns, how to clear rooms, how to take a building, different strategies of war. But what we can't teach them is how to maintain our aircraft. Part of our success, if you want to call it success, but part of the battle plan is air support, whether taking out targets, surveillance, or resupplying outposts. Afghanistan is huge. It's a very mountainous country, and some of the outposts cannot be reached by any other way than air support. But Biden, in his infinite wisdom, pulled all of the aircraft support team. The mechanics, they were doing Zoom calls on how to repair these planes, Black Hawks and other military aircraft. Our people know how to do that. They've been trained. They've gone to school. They have the experience, not them. So as I was saying earlier, we can't bring everybody home, but people like this is what I was talking about. People that need to stay there in support roles. And for example, maintaining and flying the aircraft. Now, if you take away their way to resupply the outposts, what's going to happen to the outposts? The Taliban are going to take them over. When they can't get those Black Hawks off the ground, the Taliban is going to take them over. Now let's go back to what I said about a minute ago. Who's happy about this shit? China. China's going to say, don't worry, Taliban. We will help you fly aircraft. You think China might have some people who have been trained to operate this aircraft, who are motivated to operate this aircraft and help the Taliban to strengthen their war machine so they can attack who? Us? China's fucking enemy? I'm not Perry Mason, and I'm figuring this shit out. Shout out to my dad. He loved that show. Who do you think's going to step in to take the place of the people that our president removed? China. Our grandpa in chief. Hey, China, you said you were going to put lube on it before you bent me over and fucked me in front of the world. Oh, sorry, Biden. Here you go. Oh, that's better. Now be gentle, China. Ooh. That's what we got. China can't wait to send their fucking pilots in there. Or whatever, their mechanics in there to help the Taliban get these Black Hawks and shit off the ground. They can't wait to step in and take our place. They got the money, they got the time, and they got the people. And if they can dismantle us via the middleman, which will be the Taliban, or at least hurt us enough to where they can take over and they can be like, hey, we didn't do nothing. That wasn't us who attacked your buildings. They can say it wasn't us, it was the Taliban. We didn't do that shit, even though we're behind the scenes financing everything, training and giving these people support, but we didn't actually do it. It wasn't us with the airplanes or the suicide vests or whatever. It was them. So their hands are clean, so to speak. Is this shit for real? Let me see. Ow. Nope, I pinched myself. It's real. It hurt. This 5-10 years ago, this was some conspiracy theory bullshit. There's no way in the world our president would take the roll of red carpet himself and roll that shit out for China. No way. Yes way. Matter of fact, we can go back. I'm old enough to remember. I believe it was in the late 90s. We lost a plane in China somewhere, and it took Bill Clinton 2 or 3 months to get the shit back. What do you think China was doing with our aviation technology? Playing by the rules? Scouts honor, we won't touch it because that's not right? Hell no. They had them little Chinese mechanics and scientists all up in those aircrafts, stripping it for all the technology they could get. Now, are they using that today? Probably. But my point is, they've done it before with our help. Again, something as powerful as America, and not just the physical America. I'm talking about the ideas and the beliefs of America. That cannot be destroyed from an outside source without help from the inside. It's always an inside job. You think somebody can knock off Fort Knox strictly on their own, no inside help? There isn't a guard there that has a gambling problem that you can exploit to get an extra key card. We've seen these movies 1,000 times. These are people we're talking about. Every man or woman has their price. You think they could pull something like that off all on their own? Hell no. You need somebody on the inside. Even if that somebody is at the top of the food chain, no matter how he may have gotten there. This shit is crazy. But let me finish. And of course, this will be ongoing. I haven't watched Biden's speech yet on this. I don't want to, but I'm going to for you guys. I imagine it's going to be a bunch of fumbling over the words and proving how much of a senile old man he is. And I'm sure there'll be some Trump blaming in there somewhere. But the other night, we're watching Mrs. Doubtfire with my kids. And if you don't know anything about it, it's a guy who gets fucked over in a divorce proceeding and the wife gets full custody. Now, that's a whole separate thing out there. Any man who's truly been railroaded and fucked by the system when it comes to a divorce, I feel so bad for you. My heart goes out to you. And these fucking laws need to be changed. But that's what the movie's about. He gets railroaded, so he can only have visitation with his kids 1 day a week under supervision. So he devises, he's a funny guy, does voices and shit. So he devises a plan, and his ex-wife is looking for after-school care for the kids. And his brother works in Hollywood makeup, so he makes the rubber suit and all that shit. But he devises a plan. If he can convince his ex-wife that he is this character named Mrs. Doubtfire, that he will get to spend extra time with his kids playing this woman. And he's dressed up like a woman. His kids can't tell it's him and all this shit. And so it's successful. And when the kids do find out, spoiler alert, his son, which plays again to the point I'm trying to make, his son, when he walks in on Mrs. Doubtfire taking a piss, and of course it's a man, so Mrs. Doubtfire's standing up. And the kid runs out and he runs to his sister and he's like, Mrs. Doubtfire, she's a man standing up. He can't even get the words out because he's freaked out. And this movie takes place in San Francisco. Again, this plays into the point I'm trying to make. So he goes out there and tells his sister, and they're like, oh, what the hell, Mrs. Doubtfire? You're a dude, you're standing up. So then they find out it's really their dad. But seeing how freaked out that kid was, that boy was, by seeing a woman stand up and take a piss. If that movie was made today, oh, come on. If that boy reacted like that, he would be shamed by everybody. He would have to apologize. His friends would probably turn on him at school. It'd be terrible. But at the end of this movie, Mrs. Doubtfire ends up getting a TV show, and it comes on every afternoon. It's like some Sesame Street shit, and the kids watch. So this little girl sends in a letter, and she says, my parents are getting divorced. Is it my fault? What is this happening? So Mrs. Doubtfire starts explaining that, well, mommies and daddies, sometimes they may not love each other, but they'll always love you. It's a very heartfelt message that every kid, especially a kid going through this, should hear. And so he's saying, families, you might have to live farther apart and you may not see each other, but your parents will always love you. And you might have a family with a mommy and no daddy, or a daddy and no mommy, or a mommy and a daddy. You see where I'm going with this? I'm expecting them to say, or a mommy and a mommy, or a daddy and a daddy. This came out in 93, filmed and based in San Francisco. None of that. There was no mommy and mommy. There was no daddy and daddy. There was not one mention of transgender. Again, if this movie was made today, it would be mommy and a mommy and daddy and a daddy, or daddy and a transgender mommy, or mommy and a transgender daddy, or a birth person, or a chest feeder. All this stupid sick shit would be in there. But I just knew San Francisco, mid-90s, cross-dressing dude, they're about to say, hey, mommies and mommies are cool and daddies are cool. But I was very surprised to see that they weren't pushing this perverted shit even back then. And this was at the beginning of all, Will and Grace and all that kind of shit, the Ellen DeGeneres, where they were starting to push this shit to the mainstream. But I was surprised. I just knew Robin Williams was going to be like, mommy and a mommy. Nope. Surprised the shit out of me. Had it been today, you already know. Them kids would have had half-shaved heads and rainbow flags all over shit. But anyway, surprised me. Thought you guys might want to know that. But I'm about to get over here with my beautiful wife and kids. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell, because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Get your Jericho Green notification tone. Link in the description box. Utilize a PayPal link, Teespring link, and JerichoGreen.net. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.